Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to Storytime with Mrs. McLane, your school counselor. The story I'd like to share with you today is called Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day by Judith Viorst. I went to sleep with gum in my mouth, and now there's gum in my hair. And when I got out of bed this morning, I tripped on the skateboard, and by mistake, I dropped my sweater in the sink while the water was running, and I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. At breakfast, Anthony found a Corvette Stingray car kit in his breakfast cereal box, and Nick found a junior undercover agent code ring in his breakfast cereal box. But in my breakfast cereal box, all I found was a breakfast cereal. I think I'll move to Australia. In the carpool, Miss Gibson let Becky have a seat by the window. Audrey and Elliot got seats by the window too. I said I was being scrunched. I said I was being smushed. I said, if I don't get a seat by the window, I think I'm going to be car sick. Nobody even answered. I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. At school, Miss Dickens liked Miss Paul's picture of the sailboat better than my picture of the invisible castle. At singing time, she said I sang too loud. At counting time, she said I left out 16. Who needs 16? I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I could tell because Paul said I wasn't his best friend anymore. He said that Philip Parker was his best friend, and that Albert Moyle was his next best friend, and that I was only his third best friend. I hope you sit on a tack, I said to Paul. I hope the next time you get a double-ducker strawberry ice cream cone, the ice cream part falls off and of the cone part, and it lands in Australia. There were 2 cupcakes in Philip Parker's lunch bag, and Albert got a Hershey bar with almonds, and Paul's mother gave him a piece of jelly roll that had little coconut sprinkles on the top. Guess whose mother forgot to put in the dessert? It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. That's what it was, because after school, my mom took us all to the dentist, and Dr. Fields found a cavity in just me. Come back next week and I'll fill it, said Mr. Fields. Next week, I'm going to move to Australia. On the way downstairs, the elevator door closed on my foot. And while we were waiting for my mom to go get the car, Anthony made me fall where it was muddy. And then, when I started crying because of the mud, Nick said I was a crybaby. And while I was punching Nick for saying crybaby, my mom came back to the car and scolded me for being muddy and for fighting. I am having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. And nobody even answered. So then, when we went to the shoe store to buy some sneakers, Anthony chose white ones with blue stripes. Nick chose red ones with white stripes. I chose blue ones with red stripes. But then the shoe man said, "We're all sold out." They made me buy some old plain white ones, but they can't make me wear them. When we picked up my dad at his office, he said I couldn't play with his copy machine, but I forgot. He also said to watch out for the books on his desk, and I was as careful as I could be, except for my elbow. And he also said, don't fool around with his phone. But I think I might have called Australia. My dad said, please don't pick him up anymore. It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. There were lima beans for dinner, and I hate lima beans. There was kissing on TV, and I hate kissing. My bath was too hot. I got soap in my eyes. My marble went down the drain, and I had to wear my railroad train pajamas. I hate my railroad train pajamas. When I went to bed, Nick took the back of the pillow that he said I could keep, and the Mickey Mouse nightlight burned out, and I bit my tongue. The cat wants to sleep with Anthony and not with me. It's been a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. My mom says some days are like that, even in Australia. The end. I hope you enjoyed that, boys and girls. I have to say, I've had some days like Alexander. Have you? I think one of those days was yesterday when I found out that we were not going to be able to go back to school for the remainder of this school year. It is sad, and I'm especially sad for those fifth graders that won't get to walk our halls anymore as elementary school students. But, you know, during this time, I think it's real important that we focus on the things that we have and not necessarily the things that we don't have. We all have our health, we have our families that love us, we have teachers that are providing us with exceptional digital learning, and we have school leaders that are working so hard behind the scenes to make sure all of us have what we need to be successful. And I know that you're looking forward to having a week off of school next week for our spring break, and I hope you'll enjoy that time with your family. And to our fifth graders, I just want you to know how much I'm going to miss you, and I want you to also remember that you are not alone. We are all in this together, and we'll get through it together. Don't hesitate to ask your family to play with you, to help you with your homework, and also don't hesitate to ask your parents if they would reach out to me if you need my help in any way. I look forward to the next time. Have a wonderful day, boys and girls.